Well, today I would like to talk about something far beyond the academics. It's about how we should learn, think, and perceive the world. Well, I believe many of you have heard that our school has relocated a few years ago. As your senior, it feels like my high school memories has just faded away. However, I remember I was similar to all of you. Just like an ordinary high school student, I was worrying about exam grades and competition rankings. I was feared that the mistake I made during frisbee matches would let my teammates down. And I was also trapped again between the misunderstanding between me and my classmates. Those are all my stories. Probably it's all of your confusion as well. During that time, I could not imagine that I would graduate and my undergrad and grad study will be in applied math. And I will question myself again and again for my ability because the studies are so hard. I would never imagine I will have a pre-law degree. Also, I will have studied German, Italian, and Croatian, as well as traveling to more than 20 countries around the world. I would never have imagined that. Probably you are still imagining your college life, your grad life, but still have no idea. I was just one of you, one of the international students, similar yet unique in its own way. As I see all of you now, I can see the confusion on your face. Probably you're thinking, a poor exam grade indicates I'm not suitable for academic, I have no future. Probably sometimes a fight between you and your parents make you feel like, oh, you're not a good person. And sometimes some misunderstanding between you and your classmate make you feel like, oh, you will never make any friends in the future. Is that true? I believe every one of you have the similar stories or difficulties or confusions. Well, in our society, it's changing really fast. Everyone has a criteria to be perfect, and the social norm is literally pushing us to that limit to be perfect. However, how can it be the same for everyone? You're probably questioning yourself. Is there still spaces for my interests and talents? What should I do? Should I just keep up with the crowd? What does the future hold for me? I used to have those kind of confusions as well. However, they seemed to resolve themselves as I grew. I didn't try to figure them out logically. They resolved themselves. Probably you'll ask, why? What is that mindset that helps you solve all the problems? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you. I learned all of this from reading and traveling. I have been to more than 20 countries around the world and engaging with the locals, chatting with them, knowing about their history and their stories. Probably you'll ask, why is that related to your major? Aren't you an engineering student? Yes, I am. But actually, for me, the academic part comes from my major courses, fueled my major knowledges. But on the other hand, reading and traveling experience, as well as experiencing the world, did help me with the other half of my education. That's what I'm going to talk about right now. The first thing I want to share is about critical thinking. Probably you have heard this word many times. When you're writing paper or doing exams, you want to write a long paragraph or something, you have to think critically, right? What's that supposed to mean? It's being skeptical to any one-sided narratives. I have a very good example right now. As you all know, in the 90s last century, there was the Yugoslav War, where the Bosniaks and the Serbians were in a bloody fight. When I was in Sarajevo, Bosnia, I talked to a Bosnian young man who lost his father during the war. He said that he could not forgive those people who caused harm, who were responsible. However, he fought for his life, for survival, taking a lot of jobs simultaneously. The more he hated, the more he became the one he hated. However, on the other hand, when I was in the capital city of Serbia, Belgrade, in the Kavana, which is a cafe, I talked to an old Serbian musician. He lost his brother as well during the Bosnian War. What he told me is that he would never forgive the enemies, even if the peace treaties were signed. They took away all the precious things from him. They just tried to defend their homeland. and their community. Who is right and who is wrong? Two stories, two opposing truths. Both are heartbreakingly valid on their stance. We're facing a lot of propagandas nowadays. No matter from what source, there's a lot of one-sided narratives. What we truly lack of is the way to find out the truth among the conflicting voices, because human history and human studies are full of rifts and disputes. What we should really do is to keep the lowest standard for the humanity in our heart and never go below it, because what we should weigh is the individual stories instead of all kind of different information or propagandas or something that trying to label those black or white. In exams, we seek for the singular answers. For instance, if we do not choose C, we'll lose point, right? But in the real world, it's never like that. A lot of issues is not one-sided. Well, that will bring me to my second point. That's about how to preserve the humanity and what I mentioned, to preserve the lowest line of humanity during this rapidly changing era. I'm sure all of you have tested the ChatGPT or other AI tools. And now AI tools can do a lot of things. For instance, drafting apology letters, preparing Git, and if you want to talk to your teacher or boss, you don't know what to say, you can use GPT to help. And it can help you to form the skeleton of essays. It have a lot of use. However, those are human works in the past, right? For instance, they can compose music, they can write literature, they can create artworks, they can design, but those were the work of real human emotion, genuine human emotion. That brings out the dystopian warning like what we read in 1984. Will AI one day control humanity? Will AI become authority or lead to an authoritarian state? Well, this is a warning because science is a tool while humanity and thinking is the direction. Both of them are equally important in their own way. Probably you'll ask, this topic is too far away from me. I do not really care about the human future. I just want to apply to a good college, make a lot of friends, find true love, and have a lot of money and have a stable job. Well, yes, that's exactly my point. Because we are all ordinary people. That's why we have ordinary dreams. That's why we want to live happily in this world, right? That brings back to the main point. That is, all the technology advancement serve for human. They serve to make human happy. They serve to value individuality. Yes, that's why. I met a lot of ordinary individuals during my trip. When I was in Budapest, I met a Hungarian teacher recounting the 1956 revolution. He just filled the chalk boxes with sand against the Soviet armies in the barricade. And when I was in Vilnius, in Lithuania, I met an old man who was a PhD in Harvard and then worked in West Germany until he waited and waited till he became one of the 6 millions that formed the Baltic Independence Way in 1991. And also, when I was in Florence, an old man painted my portrait and shared me the story of him trying to pursue an art degree, but have countless failures. That story really intrigued me. And also, when I was in Kotor, Montenegro, I met a kind tavern owner helped me to find my Airbnb. And he told me how Montenegro changed after Serbia and Montenegro was separated. And all of those stories of countless ordinary people in the world will be part of the narratives as well as we grew. No matter what kind of difficulties we're going to face, we are writing our own stories. That's what I want to say. There's a lot of famous celebrities and also the brilliant people. All the people endure the hardships. They lit the spark of human beings. They lit the torch of hope. For instance, like Einstein, Newton, Tesla, Hawking, there's a lot of famous names. They're really great. And also, for those people who bring out the revolution in art, brought out their talent and dignity, like Beethoven, Chopin, Mozart, a lot of names we have heard every day. But there are some of the names we cannot recount as well. For instance, during World War II, there's a lot of underground intelligence groups risk their life to give critical information. And there are also families protect the victims, protect the innocents in stake of their own life. There are also stories of the human narratives. They're all heroes. People are people with all of their happiness, sorrow, dreams and desires, delights and shadows. All of those are pushing us forward, pushing us ahead. All of those create the world we're living in. So today, in my speech, I really hope I can inspire you to embrace the cultural diversity, to think critically, and also to respect humanity deep in your heart. Never push yourself into conformity, but never give up hope. All the difficulties are temporary. You'll create your own story. Every breath, every heartbeat represents you. May love and reflection guide your way in light of the future.